Hey everybody, this is Perch, and this whole topic of customer being good to your customers and everything else, it got me thinking because it's easier said than done, and it shouldn't be. I mean, this is one of those areas where I feel like we need to be honest with each other, and and for that matter, I've just got to be honest with you. I've tried to be always in this channel. I've tried to tell you what's on my mind. I've done plenty of videos where as I'm recording it, I know that a good portion of the people listening are not going to like it. I know that in some cases there's going to be creators who will take it out of context and use it, to bolster a case. I know that because there's topics you're just not really allowed to talk about. And this isn't new. If you've worked with Marvel or DC, there's always this kind of unspoken rule, more with Marvel, to be honest, that dates back into the 90s, where if you question certain of their practices, they would be very rude to you. They would neglect you with certain marketing materials. They would make it just slightly more difficult. Not so difficult that you couldn't really survive, but just difficult. You learned to expect a certain amount of hypocrisy. Some stores, some people got more than you did, usually for being sycophants. And it's not nice. There's a couple larger comic shops out there in North America, at least, that have benefited from discounts that other people didn't get, from signings that other people didn't get, largely because they kissed the right ass. And does this make it good? No, but it does mean it's real. I've always tried to be honest here on this channel. I guess I have a built-in benefit just doing it the way I've done it. I don't care about subs. I'm very grateful, but I'm more surprised than anything else at the subs I've got, because the intention was not to be popular. If the intention was to be popular, then I would have done one of two things. Either would have gone all in, like some of the X-Men channels out there that are extremely they toe the company line, or I would have gone full blown. I would have had SJW in every single title of every single video, and I'd have double the subs now. But the subs isn't my goal. You don't get rich off YouTube. Money isn't my goal either. At least not. It certainly is my goal, but not off YouTube. I mean, this is, if anything, this is a loss. My time would be better spent financially other places. But what I want to be honest with you about is this whole idea about the customer is king. You should have good customer relations. It's true, but it doesn't always mean that's easy. So you take a look at this heavy metal situation right now, and you can pretty much you can trace back to its origins, and you could see where it went wrong. And to be clear, it is as I said in kind of the other video where I talked specifically about it, it wasn't good for the social media account to start behaving like Wendy's and start trying to do dunks on customers. It's not a look that works. It's hard to pull off. You can definitely be sarcastic to your customers, and you can make it work, like Wendy's has made it work. But 99 out of 100 times, it doesn't work. It's the wrong tone. You have to do it very carefully. It can't be like an intern doing this on the side. It has to be a structured marketing campaign. As much as Wendy's kind of appears to be some kind of guerrilla marketing campaign of some kind of rogue social media intern, it's not. The tweets are carefully considered, approved, and sent out. It's a game. It's a campaign. But you can see kind of how this went, because the goofy part of it is that heavy metal produces this comic with this character that in the comic decides to don armor for this special battle. Now, the armor, much like the Wonder Woman 84 armor, is largely useless. It doesn't provide a good plot point. It doesn't really matter. It's it's meant to really indicate, oh, things are getting serious. She's armoring up. That was kind of the entire purpose of it. Beyond that, they didn't really have a plan for it. In this exact same comic, the comic with the armor, this same character does full frontal nudity, and not a little bit of it, but plenty of it. There are no shortage of boobs, and frankly, plenty of the rest. You see it all with this character. She does not shave, and you definitively are shown that. And yet, what happens is she dons armor, and somebody, whether it's a slow news day or whatever, does the bleeding cool school of journalism, and basically writes a headline that's like, heavy metal goes full woke, takes away costume, covers her up, and it's not a truthful story. It wasn't remotely truthful. If you actually read the comic, it was clear that the writer didn't actually read the comic. It was clear that somebody saw a picture of this character, usually runs around in a thong, in armor, and went, oh, look at this, they're taking away the boobs, and they wrote the article. And they didn't look at the comic. They didn't happen to glance at, I think there's more pages with close to full nudity or full nudity than there are covered up in this comic. And so this article goes out, and plenty of people, it catches on, plenty of people start retweeting it, like, oh, look at this, company's gone woke. And I get it. I wouldn't have done it. I think this is the area where you just got to kind of turn off your brain a little bit. But I get why the company snapped back. I do. Because it was a stupid story that wasn't based in truth or reality. And that's annoying. In this channel, I admit it. Normally, I can kind of ignore it or roll my eyes. I'll do a video. Somebody will post something that makes it completely clear they never made it to minute number 2 of the video, or they're wanting to lecture me like, well, maybe if you learn a little bit more, you'll understand how comics ordering works. And it's like, bitch, you my instinct is absolutely to ream the person. Because they're saying something stupid. The instinct is there, so I completely get it. Again, I'm just being honest with you, and if anyone else is being honest with themselves, that's an instinct you're going to have. Whenever somebody comes in and posts some kind of stupid remark, I'm not talking about criticism. I'm talking about something asinine, like like this whole armor kind of discussion, which was dumb. And what made it all the more dumb, and probably the more infuriating, were the people who also didn't read the comic, just read the article, and started to construct very elaborate, like, well, this is the camel's nose under the tent, now it's all going to be armor all the time. It's like the character's worn armor multiple times over the last 40 years. Not often, but it just gets silly. And so you do definitely have that urge to say, you know what, shut up. Same thing with, I'm sure. I don't know for sure, but when Jeff Thorne posted on Twitter the I don't like Hal Jordan, and Bleeding Cool made an entire article out of it, clearly stirring up trouble, and a number of people jumped on it and started tweeting at him like, you hate Hal Jordan, you're going to kill Hal Jordan. I understand, this is all racism, killing Hal Jordan. Yeah, if you're Jeff Thorne, that you have to be annoyed by that. Anyone would. We're lying. Somebody's lying if they say, oh, I wouldn't mind. I have customers king. Their dollar matters, so I wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me whatsoever. No, that's not true. It's gonna bother you. Stupidity bothers people. Making up stories bothers people. People taking things wildly out of context bothers people. People who are not experts in things, insisting that they truly know. It's going to bother you. When people have come into my videos and said things like, I heard what you said about, the retailer has to have minimum orders, but nobody's forcing them to buy specific comics. And you're 100% wrong because Marvel, I know from an inside source at Marvel that they personally call up comic shops and threaten to expose them as bigots if they don't order enough Captain Marvel comics. It's like, that's not happening. It's not true. And you definitely get the urge to just want to snap at somebody. I get how you get there. The trick is to not do it. The strength comes in not engaging. And the reason why you don't want to engage is not because you want to be good to your customers, because the reality is the person who's inventing things about you, that's making up stories, it's lying, odds are that person is not a customer. I mean, let's just be honest. It's the people who are really going to do this stuff, take things wildly out of context and try and make trouble, are not the people giving anyone money. The reason why you don't jump in there and clap back and go on the assault is because you get drugged down to that level. And if you're me, just doing a stupid YouTube channel, it's just a waste of my time. My brand, whatever that means, doesn't necessarily get tarnished by it, but it is a waste of my time. It's time that could be spent other places. I engage a lot less. The hypocrisy of it absolutely does bother me. The people who come at me, whether they're creators who want to tell me what I am, you're part of the evil crowd because I say you are. Yeah, those people who waste of time. The creator who's very nice at the service in private, like, hey, I love your show. Hey, I listen to it all the time. Hey, I'm glad you do what you do. Oh, no, I could never come on. I'm just, yeah, I'm just, I'm busy right now. I'm not doing any interviews right now. I'm super busy. By the way, one guy is busy, has been busy for a while, and he'll be the one to write me going, oh, I hope you weren't talking about me. I'm not talking about you, sir. You have a very popular Netflix show, and your stuff is awesome. Yeah, I'm not talking about you. But other creators who will say things like, yeah, I'd love to come on the channel and do an interview, but oh man, I'm really busy. I'm not really doing interviews. And then, a couple days later, it's like, hey, you're streaming on this other channel with 12 viewers. It's like, okay, just say it. Just be honest. Honestly, say, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. Or whatever it happens to be. It's okay. You won't hurt my feelings. Just like with all this stuff. On the other end, the people who say, hey, customers should come first, and then they pull little shenanigans and flame people who are customers. Sometimes that happens to me. I'm sorry. If you hate hearing that, don't do it. You're good. But it's hard. I hope everybody can understand this. It's hard to hold your patience when people are making up stuff, inventing stuff, flaming you, spamming you, smearing you, even though in theory you are a customer. And again, I doubt many of these people are, quite frankly. But you should try and avoid just stepping into that mess. It doesn't help. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help anyone. It's a waste of your time. It does erode the sense of kind of professionalism. It takes you down to that level. I do wish, fair being fair, I wish people would just stop with some of the leap to try and get a headline, the jump to try and prove this is a white supremacy racist thing or a woke SJW thing. Just at least take a moment before scrambling to get out that article, that video, that whatever it happens to be, because it just sets off this chain of events, especially if you're not telling the truth, especially if you're inventing stuff. Now, like I said, none of what I'm saying here means, hey, it was good or right for heavy metal to start attacking people on their social media feed. They shouldn't have done it. It was a mistake. It was not professional. It wasn't helpful. It doesn't help them. It was bad. But I do get how they got there. I can understand how they got there. Doesn't make it right, but I can get it. And I would just hope that if you're listening to this right now, I hope you can kind of get it too. You can get how somebody would get to this annoyed, want to snap at somebody point. Because I see a decent amount of people, primarily on Twitter, happens on Facebook too, and they will poke and poke and poke and poke and poke until finally somebody snaps. And then when somebody snaps, they go, I can't believe this guy snapped at me. That's how unprofessional. It's like, there's 50 tweets of you just taking the piss out on this person over and over and over, and then rushing to your fainting couch when somebody smacks you back. And no, it's there does, if you're a customer, meaning you're actually somebody who's spending money or somebody who's who cares about the property, who wants to buy it, then there's better ways to express your disappointment than being an asshole for months on end, and then suddenly being a delicate little flower when somebody punches you back. Doesn't make the person throwing the punch right, but I do understand it. And if we're honest with each other, I'm honest with you, all of you right now. If you're honest back, you get that, right? I hope so, anyway. What a zoo. On to other things, right? Let's. I mean, it's a lot of conversation for a book that's not selling. Well, such is the way of things. I hope everybody is having a great weekend, whenever this is posted. Thanks for listening.